Suicide is one of the leading causes of preventable death in our nation. Here to tell us how to recognize the warning signs and where to get help is Chesapeake Integrated Behavioral Healthcare's prevention specialist and clinician, David Dillon, and prevention specialist, Michelle Morgan Jackson. Welcome you both to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you give us some suicide statistics?
Well, nationally, there is suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. And here in Virginia, we have approximately 1,179 suicide. And on the local level, here in 2017 in Hampton Roads, there were 170 suicide.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. What kind of warning signs that someone may be contemplating suicides should you be aware of?
Well, oftentimes you'll find someone who shows the signs of hopelessness and have no purpose. It could be also see signs of someone who's given away their belongings, extreme mood swings.
So someone who may be depressed, that can be a normal thing to be depressed,
Yes.
right? When should you be concerned that it's more than just a common depression or situational
Well,
depression?
if they start verbalizing a plan, if they share with you that they have access to a means to attempt to take their life, they're pretty strong signals. Yeah,
So you should take that very serious.
absolutely.
So how important of a role does education play in the prevention of suicide? I know we talked just about a few of the warning signs, but as far as just like what we're doing right now on this show, how important of a role does that play in the prevention?
I think education plays a great role because a lot of times people are not aware of some of the signs and symptoms to look for someone that may be exhibiting some of these suicidal ideation. And so if you are aware of these signs, at least this way you know how to help that individual to seek some kind of professional help.
I know a lot of times people may not know the signs or recognize them until after the fact. Maybe they look back.
Right. Also, in our education, we talk about stigma. Stigma is probably the number one reason why people don't seek services, and also the resources. Where do they get help in their city, in their community? So also in our educational programs, we provide the resources as well.
So you believe that a lot of reasons that people who do feel suicidal just may, for whatever reason, not seek help. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, oftentimes a person may, because of the stigma, you don't want to be judged.
Right.
Sometimes family may be scared of just, seeking help because of, other people probably judging them, and so for that reason, a lot of times people just don't seek help. Sometimes it's a matter of financially, you can't afford treatment. And then, of course, like what David just mentioned, resources. There's so many resources that are out there, but you don't know how to tap into those resources.
And in the case of, say, a young person and a parent, should a parent reach out to perhaps their child's friend, or if they suspect that their child might potentially be suicidal?
I think, as a mom myself, if you find that your child is behaving in a way that is not considered to be quote-unquote normal, I think it is important for you to seek any help in which you can receive. So if you know that your child spend a lot of time with their peers, and so they spend majority of the day together, so it's okay, in my opinion, to ask them, have you noticed anything about, what's going on? Is there been any changes? Sometimes you may find that a parent may be reluctant to do that because, it's a child you're speaking to, but I think sometimes the other ones that can actually give you the best information about what's going on with their peers.
And you may be reluctant as a parent as well because you don't know that child is not going to go back to their friend, which I guess you have to weigh the importance of it.
Right, but I think it's best to do something than not do anything at all. So having the conversation, I think it's a good thing to do.
So speaking of education, I know the city has a lot of different initiatives, and we have some events that are coming up. Can you talk a little bit about the events, because September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
Right. Well, on September 13th, we have a event over in Portsmouth. It's called Suicide Awareness, Shatter the Silence. This is the fourth year we've had it. It's a regional partnership with CSBs and other nonprofit agencies. It's going to be at the venue 757 on George Washington Highway. It's free. Its main purpose is to bring awareness to the issue of teenage and youth suicide, but also we promote wellness, and we have positive events for the youth to participate in. The second one we have is September 7th. It's called Hampton Roads Morning of Hope. This is out Mount Trashmore. This has been going on for, I know, at least for the last 6 or 7 years. But it brings to light the issues of depression and suicide. And you've got some celebrities out there to kind of MC it. Tom Shadd's been MCing it for several
one
years.
of the anchors, local anchors.
Local anchors. So that's always a good event to attend.
And that's part of just the awareness and hopefully removing some of the stigma associated with it.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I think there's another event at the end of the month.
So Sam Boone?
Yes, it's the Sam Boone.
Sam Boone. So that's an event that's also bringing awareness to suicide, but it's specifically geared towards teen, and that will be on September 28th.
So the takeaway is talk about it, like what we're doing, and I think that people are talking about it more because it affects everybody when this happens, and it's long-term effects. It's difficult, I'm sure, for the people who are left behind to try to understand and make sense of it. Or
we also offer two trainings: mental health first aid for youth and adult. It's an 8-hour training for laypersons to help them identify the emerging signs or symptoms of a emotional illness or mental illness, and it gives them the skills to guide that person to the most appropriate professional help. And then
we also have Assist, which is a 2-day training, and it also helps someone to identify someone who has shown any signs of suicidal ideation, and it starts them by helping them to identify the signs and take them all the way through intervention and help them how to access resources.
all right, great. Well, thank you both for coming on to talk about this very serious subject, and hopefully we can make a difference. And folks can go to the CIBH website as well, and we'll put that up. All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
We have to take a quick break, but up next we'll learn the details about the upcoming annual Brahaha. See you soon.